Deep below the reality most humans know as the real world, there's a world beyond their imagination. A primordial plane of darkness and deceit, of evil and demons. This realm was once a great and powerful place that had been more easily accessible to the world of mortals and vice versa. But things change, people change, and where light and dark meet, gray forms. Nowadays, this realm is separated from that of the mortal plane in many ways, one of which is the Honmoon. But when has that ever stopped an incursion? Sulking in his temple, the weakened demonic lord Gwi-Ma rested, attempting to restore himself only on the essence of his demonic followers. His fall was shameful, disturbing in many respects, to be so close and yet so far. And as if his very thoughts summoned a personification of his humiliation, a voice spoke. That was pathetic, it said. Gwi-Ma, enraged at whoever might speak to him in that way, turned to look, only to see a shadowy figure lurking in the darkness.
"You would dare speak to me in that way?" Gwi-Ma said. "I am the Demon King, and you are but a servant of my power."
A tendril of flames reached out to claim this demon's essence, but it was met by a slash of steel so quick that it could not be measured by sight. Gwi-Ma was shocked at the power this demon displayed. Self-proclaimed Demon King, too weak to even destroy 3 human girls. I've seen many in my time lay claim to that title, but none as incompetent as you. Gwi-Ma boiled in silence on the insolent words of whoever was before him, but instead of once again striking out in rage, his words were measured.
"Who are you, and what is it that you seek?"
Gwi-Ma asked. Stepping into the light, a man of silver hair and blue vestige, carrying with him a katana of white and black, sparse gold across it offering a subtly royal appearance. "I seek to make a deal with you. Neither of us can accomplish our goals alone, but maybe, if we work together, we'll have a chance." The man opened his hand to show a spiked seed, a promise of anti-life giving off a nefarious feeling.
"What is it that you gain from working with me?"
Gwi-Ma asked. A smile formed on the man's face, perhaps a little revenge, and the permanent merger of what once was one. Gwi-Ma thought on it silently.
"Tell me what you need."
Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, only 25% of our viewers are subscribed, so if you're a fan of the video, please like and double check if you're subscribed. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. It had been over a year since that night. Huntrix had only gained popularity since then. None of the people there that day truly knew what happened. They believed this to be nothing more than a collaboration between Huntrix and the Saja Boys, a spectacularly choreographed light show between the 2 hit bands. But since that day, the Saja Boys' popularity plummeted due to a lack of new content. What once was the only real competition for the girls was gone. The old boy band only kept alive by the sale of their few albums. But all the same, peace had come to South Korea. There had been no more demonic incursion since the Honmoon had been perfected. Things were better now than they ever had been. Well, externally they had been. Internally, there were wounds that might never heal. Rumi always smiled, but ever since that night, there was a subtle sorrow in her eyes that told everyone else that she was still hurting. Zoe and Mira did their best, trying to get her to open up, trying to help her heal. And though Rumi was grateful for their efforts, things had changed deep within her. Not just her view on demons, but also her view of herself, and her view of the redemption arcs one might be able to go through. She often found herself walking the streets, her mind remembering Jinwoo. Rumi herself was the culmination of the love of a human woman, Myung-ryu, and a demon. She had always cursed that part of herself, hoping that it would go away. But now it was part of her forever, and now there was no shame in it. She finally understood the lesson her genetics were trying to teach her, the lesson her late mother had passed on to her. Jinwoo had sealed that lesson's meaning into her, and she carried a fragment of his soul still. But there was a part of her that wished so desperately to see him again. She felt as though she would do anything to see him. But duty was a heavy burden, and for the world's sake, she needed to be what she was. And for the world's sake, Jinwoo needed to do what he did. And now, Her only companions left to remind her were Derpy and Susie. As she walked the streets, she wondered why she had to feel these feelings still. She wished to forget them. A part of her held on desperately to Jinu's memory, while the aching memory wanted him to be forgotten. Grief was a common battle, and it felt endless. But Celine had promised Rumi that if she just kept moving forward, things would get better. And so she was doing that. On the sidewalk, her feet moving one step in front of the other, she was moving forward. Getting an ice cream to lighten the mood, she tried to enjoy the clear blue skies. Peace was here, and it was meant to be enjoyed. As she walked around, she heard a sound. She heard voices, singing. It sounded like the Saja Boys. But the longer she listened, she realized she'd never heard this song before. Her interest peaked at having the chance to hear a song Jinu had done that she had never heard before, and it drew her to this location. When she got there, she was surprised by what she saw. Her ice cream hit the pavement. It was not a speaker or a CD player giving off the sounds she heard. It was real people, real voices, the real Saja Boys. Mystery, Baby, Abby, Romance. The four of them were out there in their brightly colored outfits playing a song. But as the song reached its lyrical climax, the music at its highest, the most emotional point, he burst through the four to take center stage. Jinu himself. As Rumi stood there, she knew deep down that what she was seeing was impossible. It couldn't be. Turning back, she rushed back to the apartment where she and the other girls lived. She needed to tell them what she saw. Guys, you won't believe what... Mira shushed her. Mira and Zoe were sitting on the couch, eyes fixed on the television. What? Rumi took a step in to see what they were watching. It was a local news station announcing the return of the Saja Boys after what had apparently been, and I quote, a long legal battle against a record company over the rights to their music. It showed an excerpt from an old concert they had done, and then showed a more recent image of the group in front of a poster that said, "The storm is approaching," likely a marketing gimmick. The story progressed into an interview with their new manager, a man named Virgil Redgrave. The previous record company they were with was going through financial troubles, and the Saja Boys were their last lifeboat keeping them alive. But, you know, when things reach such a desperate level that it begins to hurt the golden goose, maybe it's time for a company to liquidate. That's actually what happened after the courts ruled in our favor. Once the Saja Boys were freed from their legally ambiguous contracts, the entire record company went down. Of course, we hold no ill will toward them. After all, they were just trying to stay afloat. But it wasn't sustainable. Now we're finally free and launching our own record company, Angelo Studios. The interviewer then spoke, asking if they had any comeback plans to rally both old fans and create new ones. The silver-haired man smiled and spoke. We plan to host a charity event. We're planning to perform songs from our first independently created album, Night Over Samdochan in Freedom Village in the DMZ. All proceeds going toward world peace and other pro-humanitarian efforts, all pending approval of both governments, of course. After this, the news anchors spoke, saying that both sides agreed to the event being hosted in the demilitarized zone, before speaking on the excitement by fans the world over. Zoe turned the television off. This is impossible. The Saja Boys are dead, Mira said. It's not a lie, Rumi said. I saw them on Myeongdong Street myself. Jinu was there. Zoe and Mira rose to their feet and came to Rumi's side. Are you okay? Zoe asked. Rumi nodded. I'm fine. They all hugged. I don't understand how they could have gotten through the Honmoon barrier though. Ever since its perfection, nothing's been able to get through, Mira said. I don't know either, Rumi said. I think we need to give Celine a call. We need to know what to do next. Bringing up a video call with their mentor, the girls began to explain what had happened and what they saw, all for Celine to let them know what she knew. I've been hard at work trying to figure out how this happened, Celine said. I've been talking with many of my contacts around the world. With this recently released interview, many culprits were narrowed down. Doesn't it seem kind of fishy for them to reveal themselves so easily? Mira asked. Celine nodded. That's what makes me think this is a calling card. It's a subtle challenge to us. They're planning something, and we need to deal with it. I've called up an old friend, and I'm sending him to you. Expect him there in 24 hours. Remember, girls, don't be rash. I know what this means to you, especially you, Rumi. But we can't act without proper information. Trust me, I'm going to be looking deeper into this. I'll report back when I hear anything. The agonizing 24 hours went by without incident. The girls expected there to be at least one major incursion, but strangely, not a single demon entered the city. The night after their call with Celine, they got a call from Bobby. "Yo, girls, how you doing?" "We're doing good," Rumi said. "What's up?" Bobby then spoke. "There's a guy down here who says he's here to see you. He looks kinda smug. He name-dropped Celine, but he's giving me weird vibes. Want me to bounce him?" "No, that's okay, Bobby. Celine told us he was coming. Send him up." "You sure?" he asked. "We're sure," Rumi said. "All right, I'll give him the green light." A few more minutes passed until a knock at the door could be heard. Rumi opened it up, Mira nearby and Zoe kinda hiding in the back. On the other side of the door was a man wearing a large red coat and a basic gray undershirt. He had the most sideways grin that only grew a bit wider when actually getting a look at the girls. "Can I come in?" he asked, in a voice that seemed to match his personality. It gave off early 2000s punk, despite being a creepy 43-year-old. Rumi took a deep breath, wondering what it was that Celine had invited into their abode, but stepped aside and let him in. As soon as he was through, he went straight to the phone. Picking it up, he began to dial. "What's he doing?" Zoe asked. "Probably calling Celine to tell her that he arrived," Rumi said. He then spoke into the microphone. Yeah, calling delivery. 1 pepperoni, 1 Korean barbecue chicken. I need your card number," he whispered while covering the receiver. "This is gonna be one hell of a night." Completely and utterly astonished as Dante pretty much polished off 2 large pizzas, save for the 3 slices he left for the girls, Rumi spoke. "So, what can you tell us about the situation? Celine said you helped her narrow down a culprit?" "I did," he said as he stuffed the remainder of the crust down his gullet, chasing it with a swig of beer. "That Virgil Redgrave fellow? Demon." "No crap," Mira said. Dante strained a burp out. Sitting there for a moment, he looked over. "Big demon," he continued. "A demon king. He's gone by many names over the years, served many masters. And now he's serving Gwi-Ma?" Rumi asked. "Aw, hell nah. Virgil done gave up that servitude thing a long time ago, when he took up the name Urizen, Demon King, after finally freeing himself from Mundas's control." Rumi was confused. "I thought Gwi-Ma was the Demon King," she said. Dante let off a chuckle. "Every demon lord wants to call themselves Demon King. It makes no difference, really. Just a hellish feudal system that'll eventually end in another civil war when the next Demon King rises. Demons are relatively hard to demand respect from without having the power to prove it, and likely both Gwi-Ma and Virgil are teaming up to reclaim their right to the throne." "So then, how did they manage to break through the Honmoon?" Rumi asked. "Wow, you really don't know anything other than what you've experienced, do you?" Mira seemed to be growing annoyed at his disrespectful attitude. Dante continued. "Virgil shrugs off barriers like a hydrophobic coat in the rain. His weapon, Yamato, was once used by the Dark Knight Sparta to separate the mortal plane from hell some 2,000 years back. That was the first barrier to exist before the Honmoon, though the Honmoon certainly has made things a bit more peaceful. This past year has been a cakewalk for me. Thanks for that, by the way," he said, raising his bottle and tipping it with a wink in some form of salute. "So, using the power of this blade, Yamato, he's cut through the Honmoon to begin gathering souls again?" Rumi asked. Dante nodded. "Yeah, though I never took him for a boy band manager. He must be plotting something. But whatever it is, I don't see the union between Gwi-Ma and Virgil lasting very long. There can only be one who sits upon the Dark Throne. I'm thinking we use that to our advantage." "How so?" Zoe asked. "I'm thinking about sending a little information about Virgil over to Gwi-Ma. Strain their relationship a bit. Perhaps start some infighting between their 2 forces. A house divided can't stand, you know." Rumi nodded. "Sounds like a plan. For now, we're gonna be patrolling. We gotta make sure that demons don't take the life force of anyone in the city." "Sounds good. Now, let's get this party started." For the rest of the night, the 4 of them went their own ways and tried to keep their eyes open for any demonic activity. It was then that a new type of demon appeared that they had never seen before. It looked like a massive fly. However, the head was in actuality made from what appeared to be a demonic human that had fused with 2 other heads with sparse strings of hair on them. At the sight of this, Zoe puked. "What the hell is that thing?" she asked. "I don't know, but it's going to die," Mira said, forming her magical naginata. Not long after, Zoe formed her mystic daggers and Rumi her sword. The 3 of them rushed at this creature as it spat poisonous acid. Their teamwork together managed to bring the creature down rather easily. But not long after, they found more than that one single Empusa. there was a whole hive of them in the shadows, and they each came out after them. A long battle was drawn out even longer by the speed of these demonic pests. Slowly though, they began to be overwhelmed. Despite their efforts, the Empusa were taking advantage. Things hit ahead when Zoe was stung by one, being injected with its toxic venom. She went down quickly. Rumi and Mira did their best to cover for her, but things were looking bad. That was until a dark demon with red flowing wings like a cape came through and sliced the nearest one to pieces. As the last few attempted to flee, the demonic entity pulled out 2 pistols, firing them rapidly, each bullet formed of pure demonic energy. The Empusa perished in a spray of green fluid. Turning back, the demon met the blades of Mira and Rumi. Catching them with its own blade, Rebellion, the demon hopped back and spoke. "Whoa, whoa, whoa, calm down. It's just me," it said, dropping its form to show that it was Dante. The 2 girls let out an exasperated sigh before turning to Zoe. "Is she okay?" he asked. "You gotta help us. She got stung." Dante walked over. Looking her over, he spoke. "The venom is potent enough to make even a demon weary. A human easily succumbs, though it seems the strength of her spirit is keeping her strong. Let me just..." Dante pulled out a vial and put it to her mouth. The mysterious potion began to go down her throat, counteracting the poison. As Zoe began to awaken, Dante spoke. "Now, the last step of the cure. The only way to completely wash out the venom is a kiss from true love." He puckered up and moved forward, only for Zoe to push him away. "Respectfully, I think I'd rather die, Mr. Dante," she said. Dante chuckled and pulled back. "Can't blame an old handsome devil for trying." "What are those things?" Rumi asked. "That was an Empusa, an insectoid demon and a part of Virgil's own personal army. They're said to be symbionts of the Calipoth. If they're here, then that's not a good sign." Rumi nodded. "We need to watch out for other demons as well. Have you seen any of Gwi-Ma's forces around?" Rumi asked. "I've seen a couple here and there, but I put them down, of course. It's strange that they're letting Virgil do all the heavy lifting. It's wise to let him be the one to force things along, but they're also giving him the advantage. I don't understand it." "We decimated them," Mira said. Dante stared at her questioningly for a moment. Zoe then spoke. "Last year, when we perfected the Honmoon, we stopped them from taking over. We wiped out entire hordes at once, and then we slew Gwi-Ma. Or so we thought. It's likely he's feeding off his own forces to restore his strength. He might very well be at Virgil's mercy if your demon lord is as dangerous as you say he is." "Oh, trust me, he's dangerous. Cunning and manipulative too. He never ceases to capitalize off an opportunity." As Dante said this, he noted that the sun was beginning to rise. "Well, looks like it's time for some sun," he said. "Most demons like to work in the night, so I think it's safe to take a rest. How about we go home, catch some Z's, and then order another pizza? I'm thinking pineapple." Dante turned around and began to walk off. The girls followed him home. Providing him a blanket and a pillow, they resigned a dejected Dante to the couch. Taking them, he ditched his boots and kicked back on the fabric. Despite all she tried though, Rumi could not sleep. She tossed and turned, but the things running through her mind wouldn't let it shut down. Making herself a cup of hot chocolate, she stepped out onto the balcony and watched the sunrise. As she looked out toward the sun, she wondered how Jinnu could be alive right now, and what the ultimate outcome of their battle would be. Not long after, Dante appeared from the door behind her. "Can't stop thinking about the bugs? Yeah, they make my skin crawl too. Just imagine covering yourself in bug spray. Does the trick." "No, I'm not thinking about that. Just someone close to me." Dante came to her side and looked out over Seoul with her. "Yeah, I get it. I've been there. I've lost some family to demons too." "I'm sorry," Rumi said. "No need. I still have faith that I might bring back at least one of them." Rumi looked over at him. "What was that you used last night anyway?" "What was what?" "You know, that weird form you use. Are you actually a demon yourself?" she asked. "Does that surprise you? You're a demon too, right?" "How did you know?" Rumi asked. "You just got those smokin', sexy style vibes that come with being part demon." Rumi scoffed. "My mother was one of the last generation of demon hunters, and a member of the Sunlight Sisters, which my adoptive mother, Celine, was a part of. At some point, she met a demon, fell in love, and I was born. She didn't live much longer after that, though." "Sorry to hear it," Dante said. "It's not your fault," Rumi said. "I have a similar story. My father was actually the Dark Knight Sparta, one of the most powerful devils in all of hell. He rose up against Mundus, and with a ritual and the power of the blade Yamato, he sealed the demon realm away. Rumi listened. For about 2,000 years after that, he lived, a shell of his former self. But eventually, he met a sweet girl in Redgrave City, a beautiful woman named Eva. The two would wed and give birth to 2 boys, twins. Rumi listened to this tale and began to piece things together. Let me guess, you and Virgil? Dante looked at her out of the corner of his eye with a smile. You're sharp. I've read the Divine Comedy. Your mother must have been a fan. Dante nodded. Mundus hated my father, and managing to break through the barriers that he and your ancestors put up, he sent hordes after him to kill him. They succeeded, and they killed my mother too. Me and my brother ran. We were separated, and I began to live alone. Starting my own handyman agency just to live, I realized I couldn't hide from my past forever. That's why I formed the Devil May Cry Agency, a secret front for a demon hunting organization just like your little Huntrix group. Rumi took a sip from her hot chocolate. I guess this means we both have stakes in this upcoming battle. I'll have to face Jinnu again, and you'll have to face Virgil. Will you be able to kill him if he forces your hand? She asked. I'm hoping an ass whooping will be enough to change his perspective on things, but if he forces my hand, I can't sacrifice the world for my desires. You? Rumi sat there and thought about it. I don't know. Dante couldn't blame her. Celine told me about you and Jinnu, about what happened. I'm sorry. I don't know if I can face him again, she said. Dante nodded. I understand. If you can't face him, I'll face him for you. I don't want to stand to the side and let you do all the work, Mr. Dante, Rumi said. I just need to get stronger, not only mentally, but physically. I won't let my friends get hurt again like last night. Dante turned to look at her. You've already got the strength you need deep within you, he said. It's nice that you would say that, but I need real strength, not hopeful words. No, I'm serious. You're like me. You're a demon-human hybrid. The demon side of you is so much stronger than your human self. If you just let it loose, you'll find that you've got the strength you're looking for. I don't know if that's such a good idea, she said. I know my previous conceptions about demons are different. My mother, and apparently your mother as well, have proved that not every demon is bad, but I don't know if I can so freely use that power. I was like you once, Dante said, afraid of what I was and what might happen if I unleashed it. But the truth is, it's still a part of you, an important part of you. And if it can help you save the world, then I suggest you use it to your fullest ability. Dante waited a moment. I want to give you something, he said. Pulling a chain from around his neck, he displayed a red amulet. What's that? Rumi asked. This is my mother's amulet. Its 2 halves were given to me and my brother on our 8th birthday. It's filled with a demonic power that should help you call forth your demon power to its fullest. I want you to have it, but just for now. Rumi looked it over and saw the names Dante and Virgil engraved on the back. I can't accept an heirloom like this, Dante, she said. You're not keeping it if that's what you're afraid of. I'm lending it to you, as in for a limited time. There shall be takesy-backsies when this is all over. But for now, I feel like you need it more than me, and my mother would want you to have it, so please, take it. Rumi took it in her hand and put it around her neck. I'll be sure to keep it safe. You better, Dante said as he turned around to re-enter the apartment. If anything happens to that, your ass is grass. Later on that day, as they all trained their hardest, Rumi attempted to learn how to properly awaken her demon powers to their fullest with Dante. Suddenly, the phone rang. Rumi answered it. Hey, Rumi, it's Bobby. Hey, Bobby, what's up? I had something to pass on to you, he said. The Saja boys, they want to collab with Huntrix and Freedom Village. You guys think you'd be up for something like that, he asked. She thought for a moment. Can we get back to you on that, she asked. Sure thing, you got my number. Ring me whenever you reach a decision. Okay, bye. She hung up the phone. What's wrong, Rumi? Zoe asked as she drew closer. I think we need to call Celine. As the girls told Celine what was going on, she thought about it. This seems like a challenge, Dante said. I couldn't agree more, Celine said. The chances that Virgil doesn't know I'm involved yet are so low it's practically 0. So this is them calling us out. Celine then spoke. Obviously, this is a trap. We're their greatest threat in-house. They could and would do whatever they want. Are there any alternatives? Rumi asked. Celine began to shake her head. I've tried to pull some favors from some of my contacts within the Korean government, but I've had no luck having their permit revoked. Whatever's happening in Freedom Village will happen whether we want it or not. The only thing we can do is try to get in and stop it. That would have been impossible without this opportunity, Rumi said. That's true, but how much can we trust the Saja boys at this point? Celine said. I think we're overthinking it, Dante said. Is it a trap? Probably, But does that change what we have to do? No way. We have to go and fight anyway. Them opening the door for us is better than us having to knock it down. And us having foreknowledge of their possible plot takes away the element of surprise. If anything, this feels like an announcement, an invitation to a final battle, which is such a Virgil thing to do. What do you propose, Mr. Dante? Celine asked. Let me make some calls. I think our best chance is to walk right into that trap. Celine looked at the others. So, what do you think? This is totally up to you girls. It could be dangerous either way. What do you want to do? Rumi looked at Mira and Zoe, and the three of them nodded in agreement. We're going to accept the offer, Rumi said. Then I will pray for you, Celine said. Don't be afraid to reach out if you need anything. Thank you, Celine, Rumi said. They then ended the video call. Well, I'd better let Bobby know. After that, I think we need to train harder than we've ever trained before. The others nodded in agreement. At about that time, Dante was leaving the apartment. What are you doing? Rumi asked. I'm gonna go make some arrangements. We need an ace in the hole, just in case things go south. I'll be back in about an hour. You guys get back to training without me. And with that, he shut the door. As they got off their tour bus in Freedom Village, they saw the stage waiting for them. The Saja boys were already up there performing. So the girls and Dante made their way to the backstage. Once there, they waited for the intermission. When the Saja boys finally left the stage, Rumi stopped Jinnu. Is that really you? Or are you just a demon in disguise? Jinnu offered a smile. You gave me my soul back, and now I give it to you, he whispered in her ear before passing her by with a chuckle. Rumi stood there, shaken. Mira and Zoe came to her side. Are you okay? They asked. It's really him. I can't believe it. Dante watched the young man disappear into the darkness. Something's wrong with him, Rumi said. He's not the same as he was before. He looks like a husk. What do you mean? Rumi asked. It almost feels like powerful dark magic, a corruption. My brother. I thought him to be dead for the longest time, but when I faced him on Mallet Island, he was corrupted, broken, soulless. Your Jinnu looks even more so. I don't think the person you believe he was exists anymore. Rumi began to cry. It's okay. Let's just get this over with, stop Gwi-Ma and Virgil, and head home. Rumi nodded and got herself back together. Heading out to the crowd, they began to do their part of the concert, taking this time to bolster the power of the Honmoon in hopes that it could somehow either buy them more time or impede the progress of the demons. But as soon as their song came to an end, the stage lights shut down completely. And in the distance, closer to the border between north and south, something emerged from the ground. A massive, demonic tree. Dante looked at it. No way. Virgil found a Qlipoth seed? The girls ran back. That's a Qlipoth. A demonic tree that sprouts upside down. Its branches are deep in hell, its roots reaching up toward the sky. It spreads its roots to suck the blood dry from all humanity, to form a fruit said to grant unimaginable power to any demon who eats it. Normally, it takes a long time for the roots to spread, but it seems that Virgil has other plans to make that fruit even faster. It was then that the voice of the Saja boys began to echo out. The song they sang dared the quartet to challenge them, and bid the humans to go to the tree for the sacrifice. Bury the light deep within, the lyrics went. Cast aside, there's no coming home, they continued. We're burning chaos in the wind, drifting in the ocean, all alone. No way, Dante said. Virgil, you egotistical bastard. You made your theme their control song, Dante said, as though he found it cool. Stop gawking, we need to stop them. But before they could go, the stage opened up into a deep pit, enchanted, designed to seal them there, to weaken their powers. From there, the pit opened up further, and what seemed like an unlimited amount of Gwi-Ma's demons and Virgil's forces began to pour through. Dante, Rumi, Mira, and Zoe began to fight against them, but slowly they were being overwhelmed, their powers draining as well. I don't know, girls, Dante said. This is looking tough. We can't die here. Everyone needs us, Rumi said. Suddenly, a rope was dropped down. Grab on, a voice shouted. Getting to the top, Dante stood. Took you long enough. Sorry, transporting the van was a bit tougher than usual. Rumi looked up at the two men speaking. Who's this, she asked. Dante looked back. These three are my ace in the hole I was telling you about. May I introduce you to my peers? This is Lady, this is Trish, and last and definitely most whiny is Nero. Nero elbowed Dante. Pleasure to meet you, Nero said. Dante told me you guys might need a little help, so here I am. Rumi nodded. Thank you. Dante then clapped his hands. Well, I'm sure we'd all like to catch up, but as you can see, there's a bit of an issue here called the Qlipoth. and we need to get it and take it out. Y'all down for a little demolition mission? Hell yeah, Lady said, raising her rocket launcher. Let's kick some ass. All of them getting into the van, the doors closed as they put the pedal to the metal. Tires screeching across the pavement, they drove straight to the tree. Getting out, Dante spoke. Nero, Trish, Lady, I need you three to head down and start sabotaging the tree from the demon world. Me and the girls are going topside to find Gwi-Ma. You got it. And from there, they split up. Dante had specifically let the news of Virgil's return stay in the dark. He needed Nero here, but he didn't need him getting in the way when he heard his father survived. This was Dante's battle, and it needed to stay that way. They began to make their way up the tree, but along the way they were stalled by demons left and right. Not only was it tiring them out quickly, but it was also delaying them. And the longer it took them to stop the tree, the more people would be sacrificed to it. Already the walls were pulsing with blood and human souls, signifying that soon, not a single human who traveled to the concert would be left alive. Outside, military operations were beginning. Tanks and artillery from both north and south were hammering the tree that rose to challenge the heavens. But nothing was working, and the longer that this went on, the more the voices of the Saja boys began to draw in even the military. Eventually though, they made it to the top where the Saja boys were. They planned to protect Virgil and Gwi-Ma from the joint Huntrix and Devil May Cry forces. By this time, the demonic boy band was already wearing their darkened cloaks. Man, Dante said, looking at the band pose. You five have really lost touch with pop, he said. Pulling a fedora that seemingly appeared out of nowhere, he spoke. How about we settle this with a dance-off? Moving with all the swiftness and spirit of Michael Jackson himself, Dante turned, twisted, and moonwalked his way toward them, until ending by pushing his hand forward and pointing at them. When they didn't react, he pulled rebellion from his back. Or we could just do it the old-fashioned way. Dante, Rumi, Mira, and Zoe all engaged with the Saja boys once again, with Rumi specifically facing Jinnu. Jinnu, stop, she said. I know you're still in there, just listen to me. For a time, the two of them went back and forth, but Jinnu was different. He was far stronger now than he had ever been. He kept pushing Rumi back. Jinnu, I know you can hear me, she shouted. Stop trying to reach me, he shouted back at her. I'm not the same person you knew a year ago. Lord Gwi-Ma and Lord Virgil restored me and gave me everything I needed to conquer my past. No more memories, no more nightmares, only beautiful gifts and pleasures beyond imagination. Dante, catching the blades of the two Saja boys he was facing, looked back, giving a nod to Rumi. It was then that Rumi looked down at the amulet around her neck. Closing her eyes and taking a deep breath, she touched the ruby red gem in the center and felt a power running through her. Grabbing Jinnu, she pulled him close, her blade against his throat. Good, he said. Give in to your demonic impulses. Kill me and lose yourself forever. Then nobody will stand in Lord Gwi-Ma's way. Rumi thought about it for a second before angrily punching Jinnu, knocking him out cold. She then moved through to kill off the remaining Saja boys before their song could entice more humans to self-sacrifice. Dante looked back. Are you sure you don't want to finish him? He's not a threat anymore, Rumi said. Let's just take down Virgil and Gwi-Ma. From there, they began to ascend to the top. At the top, Virgil looked upon the fruit. It's so small, hardly enough to attain anything at all.
To you, it may be nothing, but to me, it's everything. Give me my share, and we'll conclude our business deal,
Gwi-Ma said. Virgil took a deep breath and sighed before pulling Yamato to carve Gwi-Ma in twain. No, this was not worthy of my time. I will not sell this project at a loss. If the Kalipath is a failure due to your Saja boys, then you will pay the price. He held out his hand and began absorbing Gwi-Ma. As Gwi-Ma began to be pulled into Virgil, he screamed in anger and rage before it became a laugh. What's so funny? He asked.
You think you're the only one with information. I know all about you from your brother.
Virgil's eyes narrowed. Before he could say anything, the demons around began to rush Virgil, fixing pieces of armor to his body. The moment the armor dug in, he knew what this was.
Damn you, Dante,
he shouted. In his last conscious moments, Virgil tossed the Kalipath fruit away to keep it from Gwi-Ma's hand. If I can't have it, neither can you. A moment later, Virgil's personality was suppressed as Gwi-Ma allowed himself to be absorbed. He both fed off of Virgil's power and took the power of his physical form for himself. The Demon King, now reborn as Gwi-Ma Angelo, stood there, holding the Yamato, the only blade in existence that could freely sever the Honmoon. Standing at the edge, looking over the side, he smiled.
This world will finally merge once more with the demon realm, and I shall rule over it all.
At that time, Dante, Rumi, Zoe, and Mira appeared. Dante was surprised.
Oh, I didn't expect that, he said. You'd think telling me there was a time where your brother was subdued would not be sought out by me? You truly are foolish.
Dante scratched the back of his head.
Not my brightest moment.
Rumi stepped forward. This is your only chance, Gwi-Ma. Return to the demon realm or I'll send you back in a box. Gwi-Ma laughed.
You could hardly handle me a year ago, and only managed it because I was betrayed by Jinnu. But now, even with your little demonic amulet, there's nothing you can do to stop me.
Rumi looked back. Let's go, girls.
And Dante,
said Dante, trying to set himself apart so that his manhood would not be tarnished by reacting to a command aimed only at women. The four tried to one-team the Dark Knight Gwi-Ma. All of their blades clashed, but Gwi-Ma, even being outnumbered, still maintained the advantage. Their blades flowing through the air, sparks hardly visible could be seen. Pushed back, Dante had never seen Virgil so powered up before. This Gwi-Ma was a lot stronger of a threat than he had first assumed. A true demon king that might even surpass the power of Urizen and Mundus together. Activating his Sin Devil trigger, he flew in to clash with Gwi-Ma in hopes that it might allow him to keep track of Virgil's movements, but Gwi-Ma was still faster and stronger too. To think that this was all about another Qlipoth fruit. Despite everything, he sensed the fruit nearby, but where it was, he did not know. It was imperative that Gwi-Ma not get a hold of it. If he did, the power he gained could make him unstoppable. Dante managed to spin the blade to the side before manifesting his pistols, ebony and ivory. Aiming point blank at Gwi-Ma's face, he spoke. Jackpot! He fired. The bullets knocked Gwi-Ma back, but did nothing more than make him angry. Dante's eyes widened. Uh-oh. Gwi-Ma rushed in and pile-drived Dante before kicking him away.
Just so you know, that was Virgil who did that, not me. He really hates your guts,
Gwi-Ma said. Dante nodded and got back to his feet.
I'm not his biggest fan either.
The four continued their battle against Gwi-Ma, but even with the added power of Dante's Sin Devil trigger, it wasn't enough. As the fight continued, eventually they all fell. Only Rumi remained.
I'm going to enjoy this,
Gwi-Ma said. He hit her with a combo designed to extend the amount of suffering she experienced exponentially.
You thought you could kill me. You thought you could seal me. You thought you could keep your precious souls from me, he shouted.
Kicking her away, he spoke.
What hope do you have against me?
As Rumi rolled along the ground, she saw the fruit there. So many souls sacrificed for this one fruit. Lives that could never be brought back. Taking it in her hand, she looked at it. She needed to keep this away from Gwi-Ma, and the only way she could think to do it and beat him at the same time was to do the unthinkable. She ate it. Feeling the power of so many souls flowing through her, she understood what it was they wanted from her, their last wish. Rumi, turning around, formed her Sangyom sword, powered by the combined will of so many human spirits. Gwi-Ma immediately knew what she did.
That fruit wasn't yours, he said.
It wasn't yours either, she replied. Gwi-Ma growled at her in anger before collecting himself.
That's fine. Once I kill you, I'll simply absorb it out of you. No loss for me. All I need to do is subdue you.
If you can subdue me, she said. She then rushed forward with her blade and clashed it against the Yamato. Despite her power increase, she was still weaker than Gwi-Ma. She knew she didn't have the power to kill him, but she knew that there was something she could do. With all of the choreography she had learned in her years as an idol, as well as all the training she had gained from being a demon hunter, she managed to momentarily overpower Gwi-Ma and pull the Yamato from his hands. Slicing the space behind her, she created a portal to the demon realm. Somersaulting over him, she kicked him as hard as she could into the portal. As Gwi-Ma landed on the other side, he looked back.
No, he shouted,
desperately trying to get his feet to pass through. But before he could, the portal closed, locking him in darkness. Scowling in frustration, he screamed in wrath, but none could hear him from the depths of hell where he now resided. As the battle came to an end, Rumi set free all of the souls that had been in the fruit and allowed them to pass on. Dante came to her side.
Wow, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little turned on.
She pushed the now sheathed Yamato into his chest, giving it up to him. Gwi-Ma is finished, but now we gotta deal with this tree before its roots spread any... Suddenly, there was the sound of a massive explosion that shook the whole structure. What was that? Zoe asked. That was my ace in the hole. This whole thing's about to fall into hell. We gotta get out of here, he said. Taking up Mira and Zoe, Dante lifted into the air. Come on, Rumi, he shouted. No, not yet, she shouted before running down into the tree. Once she was down, she found the body of Jinnu laying there, still unconscious. Lifting him up, she spoke. I won't lose you again. Getting to the top, she saw that Dante had already gone. Looking over the side, she saw how far she would have to fall. Could they even survive something like this, even as demons? Before she could make a choice, the tree made one for her. It began to collapse down into the hole from which it sprouted. Running toward the edge, she jumped off and held Jinnu tightly. Looking at his unconscious face, she couldn't help but cry. I'm sorry I couldn't save you, she said. I'll see you on the other side. Don't speak too soon. Rumi looked up. Dante was there, having already dropped off Zoe and Mira. Zoe and Mira came to her side. Rumi, are you all right? She nodded. Looking at Jinnu, she knew there was something she had to do. If he really is a husk without a soul, then maybe I can give back what he gave me. Putting her hand on his chest, she let the soul that he had once given her flow back into him. As he breathed it in, his eyes opened. Rumi, is that you? She hugged him. Dante stood there as Lady, Trish, and Nero walked up. Hey, what's that? Nero asked, pointing toward the Yamato. Oh, this? It's just your father's sword. My father's sword? Wait, was my father here? And you didn't tell me? Nero planted his fist into Dante's jaw. Why the hell didn't you tell me he was here? Dante rubbed his jaw before motioning towards Nero himself. This is why I didn't tell you, Nero. Damn! And as the trio stood at the edge of the hole, they looked up and saw the spirits of the people who died to the Kalipoth above. With their union and the voices of the Huntrix and Jinnu, the Honmoon was repaired, and the threat of Gwi-Ma was finally sealed up. Jinnu and Rumi's eyes then met for the first time in over a year, and with that, they exchanged a kiss. But before it could last any longer, there was a clearing of a throat. They both looked over to see Dante standing there. Rumi turned toward him. Thank you, Dante, for everything. It was my pleasure, he said. An awkward moment passed. Aren't you forgetting something? He asked, holding his hand out. Oh, Rumi removed the amulet and gave it back to Dante. Thank you for letting me use it. I don't know where I would have been without it, she said. Dante looked at it and then looked at Rumi. Probably just fine. Turning back, he spoke. Let's head out, guys. As the van disappeared into the distance, Mira and Zoe drew closer and embraced Rumi and Jinnu. From here, the future was bright. The issue at the DMZ had been thought to cause a deeper conflict, worrying that a new world war might break out, but it seemed to have the opposite effect. With the appearance of a common threat, both the North and South put aside their differences to fight, which led to more respect on both sides for the other. For some time, the Huntrix continued their career, but eventually it was time for a new chapter in their lives. Jinnu and Rumi would marry, and not long after, welcome their firstborn into the world, a daughter, a powerful human/demon hybrid, with all the power of a demon hunter, the next generation. Mira and Zoe would become doting aunts. And as the sun set on their story, Jinnu and Rumi couldn't help but think about the troubles that brought them here. But with the world now at peace, they too could be at peace, and imagine that, in the future, perhaps things didn't have to be this way. But so long as the world was filled with evil, and so long as demons sought to harm humans, the demon hunters would be there. They would fight until eternity. Through their strength, they would make a better day tomorrow, and would never surrender. And that's it! Considering how much everyone seems to be getting into the K-pop Demon Hunters movie, I thought I'd get on that hype train too. At first, I thought it was going to be the cringiest movie ever made, but when some unexpected friends of mine started singing praises of the movie, I knew I just had to try it out. And I gotta tell ya, it was a lot better than I thought it would be. As I was watching it though, I started thinking back to another series about demon hunting that I really liked, and I thought, I wonder what Dante would do in a situation like this. And so, K-pop Demon Hunters featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series was born. I know it's a little different from what most of you were probably expecting, but you have all been really open to new concepts recently, so I thought I'd test the waters with this. Hope you don't mind. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the story. If so, be sure to let us know in the comments below what you thought. I hope I stayed true enough to the characters' personalities and managed to do justice to these two great stories. If you have any other ideas for what ifs, be sure to let us know about them. You never know what might happen. Be sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps out the channel. Until next time, peace.